Hi and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. I'm James. As usual, we've got Daryl, we've got Leon. How you two doing?
All good, bro. All good. How are you both?
Yeah, all good. Again, another good week for us. Not so for James, but
I'm not good. Does football even exist? I mean, come on. I'm trying to fight fires and get people to stop saying Klopp out. And if we at the end of the season, if you don't finish top four, you can go. You might as well say you can go now.
ooh, top four. Wow.
Top four's done. So if you're saying you might as well go
Yeah,
in the top four, then it's done.
do you know what? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I think finally this week I felt your pain because that result, wow, that was unexpected to say the least. So, James, you seem speechless. What you have to say about it?
No, I've got too much to say. That's the problem. I've got too much to say, and
Well, that's what we're here for, man. Talk.
it'll be accused of making excuses, but they're not excuses. They're just truths. And all through the season, from the beginning of the season, from last season, even before we brought back Armchair Pundits, I wanted to revamp our midfield. And back then, a year ago, 6 months ago, I was actually looking at the makeup of our squad. So this January, I thought, okay, you know what? Something's not right here. They can't be that stubborn that they don't want to buy someone in January. So I looked at our squad and I realized, oh wait, we can't buy anyone apart from one English or homegrown player. So our squad makeup was so poor that the reason why we didn't sign anyone is because we could only bring in a homegrown player. And if you can tell me a homegrown player we could have brought in January that would have made a difference, and it would have been at a good enough price. I think when we
That's
were
the
speaking
problem.
earlier, exactly. When we were speaking earlier, I think Daryl said Ward Prowse, who I personally like. Is he Liverpool quality? Probably not. But there's no way Southampton sitting in the relegation zone and selling that to Ward Prowse. Their captain. No way.
Mm.
No, but I suppose if you offered enough money, for him in that
This
situation,
is Liverpool, bro.
relegation
This is
threat.
Liverpool. I know we have spent a lot of money here and there, but after spending that much money on Nunes, there was no way we are going to spend big bucks
Well,
on a
well,
Ward
truth be
Prowse.
told, what you're saying then does make sense, really, because realistically, there's no one out there that's going to be homegrown that you're going to bring in that's going to be Liverpool
But that's
quality.
the problem. Why
But
we
the thing
go
is
on.
then, why did you go and spend the money on Nunes and Gakpo if you knew this was a problem? We've had this problem at Tottenham. Liam will tell you for years that we've always had this homegrown issue, and that's why we've got some dead players still in the squad for homegrown reasons. But you lot have gone out and spent money on non-homegrown players, knowing that this is the case. So how did that happen?
I'm assuming that they thought because right, the three guys that were up for sale in the summer, Nat Phillips, Ox, and Keita, two of those are homegrown. So you get rid of Ox, you got rid of Nat Phillips, then you then can bring in a better British player, and you can actually or homegrown player. I can't say British, better homegrown player that you can actually scout through the summer. But more importantly, you get rid of Keita because Keita at the moment, 1 year left, he's the one that's causing the problem in terms of having non-homegrown players. Because I'll read out our midfielders. Well, in fact, I'll read out the players that are not non-homegrown. Allison, Kelleher. Sorry, Allison, Adrian. Adrian can go. Let's be honest. He's taking up a homegrown. He's taking up a slot. He's taking up a slot for a foreign player. We don't need him.
And he's not been good
You
when
know,
he's come in
honestly.
for either.
No,
No.
not after initially he was, but then after the initial hype of him coming in, that died down. So Van Dijk, cool. Matip, keep. But I'll come on to Matip. Kanate, yes, fine. Robbo, Simicas, both fine. Fabinho, he's in the summer. Not many people would have said sell him. Some people would have said he needs to get back to his normal form, but no one would have said sell Fabinho. Thiago, same. Keita, Arthur came in and took a foreign spot. He's played 13 minutes. Then you've got Salah, Jota missed the first half of the season. Diaz missed the first half of the season. Firmino's missed half of the first half of the season, and now then you've got Nunes. They're all are foreign players.
That's the majority. Of your, that's the majority of your starters as well when you think about it.
But then you say to yourself, Arta shouldn't be there. Keita should have been sold because he actually wasn't injured in preseason. He got injured at a Community Shield. So the whole of preseason he was fully fit. He should have been sold. 18 or 12 months left of the contract. Get rid of him. If you can get 30 million, you get 25 million for him. You get rid of him, and then you buy someone better or someone new that we know that his body can stand up to it. I'll always say, Keita's ability. Some people don't see it. I see it. I see what he can do as a footballer, and I like it. But you're useless if you can't get yourself on the pitch. It's pointless. So how? That's why you can. That's why Klopp lays some of the blame goes to Klopp because as much as it's not his job to watch homegrown and non-homegrown, he should be aware of this. He should be aware of the makeup of the squad and what he needs to reshuffle things. If not him, then whoever's above him is doing this has failed us as a club because we got into January, signed Gakpo instead of a foreign midfielder. We didn't need Gakpo. Yes, we like the fact that we got Gakpo, but he wasn't needed, in all honesty. Our big need was to buy a centre midfielder or loan a centre midfielder that can actually cope with the style of football that we want to play. Everyone says games are won by a midfield. Klopp has built his philosophy around our midfield. And our midfield is the worst part of our team right now. And it's letting down the attack, it's letting down the defence because they're not fit for purpose. Thiago's not fit for the Klopp purpose, but if you have Fabinho that's on top of his game and a number 8 that is
a box to box,
robust, robust box to box, then you can allow what Thiago doesn't give you. But then Thiago's flaws are hugely exposed when the other two parts aren't working.
Yeah,
that's why it's a whole catastrophe of things. It's like I said, people say it's excuses. It's not. Our squad makeup is poor, and from layers from the top to Klopp have let this happen. And
so it goes deeper
it goes deep.
than Klopp and just on the pitch. Then
Summer, we're finished because you look at it. Summer, right? I spoke about homegrown again. Kelleher, let's be honest. Kelleher is a good goalkeeper. He's not a number 2 goalkeeper. Whenever he's coming for Liverpool, you hardly even realise that Alisson's out because he does such a good job. He's not as good as Alisson. Don't get it twisted.
But you're saying that he is an efficient as your number 2.
Bruv, yeah, he's more than efficient. And you look at Dean Bezanu at Southampton, the Man City goalkeeper. Kelleher was the Ireland number 1 goalkeeper when they were both number 2s for Man City and for Southampton. Now he's playing for Southampton. He's the number 1. So someone like Kelleher's thinking. Yeah, Kelleher's now thinking I've got to look for my future. I can't be Liverpool. Like Klopp even said this season, he's only got Carabao Cup, so he's not even playing FA Cup games. So a goalkeeper, he's young, but a goalkeeper as good as he is already needs to go out and play. So let me go back to what I was saying. You lose Kelleher, possibly. Then we get rid of Phillips, we get rid of Ox. That's 3. We get rid of Milner. That's 4 homegrown players that we've now got to replace in the summer. So then who are we gonna? That's why we need Bellingham. I won't be surprised if we got new owners and they both said, you know what, forget whatever. Man City spend money, Chelsea spend money, go out and get Bellingham and go out and get what's his name from West Ham,
Declan
Rice, because they're both homegrown and they're both starters. So then
that's gonna cost you a lot.
But if we've got new owners, we can probably afford it. Because when you look at our balance sheets, realistically, we're not anywhere near breaching FFP. Because we're
like some clubs.
We're like 25 million over here and there. We can stomach that. But there is when it was like when I was saying before, you know what, I think we need 3 midfielders and we'll be fine. I have to revise that myself. It's not. Because if those 4 go, we have to replace 4. Then Keita goes. Yeah. You have to replace Keita. There's so much work that has to be done. Right? Because let's be honest, Adrian is wasting slot. These Man United, you guys, Tottenham, I think Arsenal did it, Man City did it. They're smart. All their homegrown goalkeepers, all their goalkeepers, old, are homegrown. Butland's homegrown. Heaton's homegrown. 2 homegrown straight there. You've
Ramsdale
got now
homegrown,
Foster.
and he's starting.
Ramsdale's homegrown. Foster's homegrown.
Yeah.
And Man City keep what's his? He's really old now. He's like almost 40. I forgot his name.
Scott Carson.
Scott Carson, homegrown. He never has to play, but you fill up your homegrown slots. Yeah, we had it with we did it with Kelleher, but if him potentially leaving, there's no
Where
point
is this
having
thing
it again.
about him leaving though?
I heard it through one of the podcasts because he's basically at the moment upset because he's doing well, but all he's playing is Carabao Cup games. And last year it was fine because we got to the final Carabao Cup, so I was all blessed. But when you get to a final Carabao Cup and you actually win it, that's going to boost your ego, innit? I could do this. Klopp's out there saying he's the best number 2 goalkeeper in the world. That's going to boost your confidence. Then you come to a new season and it's like, okay, you're only getting Carabao Cup games, and then we get knocked out. So he's going to play 3 games this season.
Yeah, yeah. I hear what you're saying.
So I've even spoken about the game because the game was so atrocious. The
I
game was so
about to
atrocious.
say as well, where you better get there.
Let's go back to the game then, because
I told you I was going to rant.
It's been a controlled rant so far.
There was a period in the game where Liverpool did dominate and play really well and look like the Liverpool of old, but just didn't get nothing from it. Didn't get the goal. Nunes now, James, you said it to me earlier, saying about they're starting to call him 007.
No, that's Gakpo. Gakpo's 007. No goals, no assists, 7 games.
Wow.
And let's put it out there. Sancho had that tag first.
Yeah, I do remember that. But yeah, some mistakes defensively. The centre back pairing, and I know again James has touched on this, that I think he said that Matip and Gomez have only played together as long as they've been at the club. They've only played together 4 or 5 times as a defensive pairing.
Started 4
in 7 years.
Because
you can see why. Yeah, you can see why.
There's not a leader between them. Like Konate is a leader and Van Dijk's a leader, so it works. But those two are not. I'm not saying they're bad centre backs, but you need a leader. Same thing we said about Harry Maguire. He's not a leader. He needs someone that's a leader next to him for him to play to his level. Some people might say then you're not a good centre back if you have to have a leader next to you. You can still be a good centre back because you have a good partnership. You can form a good partnership.
You look at the past. There's always been one that's been the leader. Like even when we had Vertonghen and Alderweireld, Vertonghen was the leader, clear as day. You know, and when he didn't play, we saw that weakness in the defense when it was like Alderweireld and Dyer, because Alderweireld wasn't that clear leader like Vertonghen was. So I can see what you're saying about that. But back to your game, like I haven't seen Matip have a mare like that in
his last 2 games.
I'm sure.
Three, bro. 3 against Brighton, he wasn't very good. And he's been dropped since that game. Bear in mind, he comes back in, and we can see another 3 goals, and he starts it off. For the first 12 minutes, it was shocking, and then people say, "Oh, he can come back," but we're not in any confidence to do that. And they're sitting there, the lowest goal scorers in the league. We can see 3 goals against. How can you score 3? How can you concede 3 goals against a team that scored 10 goals all season
without their signature striker starting as well? But to be honest, Gomez didn't do himself no favors. Trent didn't do himself any favors. I genuinely, honestly, I don't understand how you lot have gone from title contenders last season to the results that you're getting and you're placing in the table now.
I honestly think they maxed out last year. I think he got I think he got the most he could get out of that squad. Because as I said before, let's be honest, they missed out on winning all 4 trophies by literally a game on each one. That they could have won the Champions League. They had the most chances, but Real Madrid doing Real Madrid things like they did the whole tournament, just doing exactly what they need to do to win. They lost the title by 1 game when they were in pole position, and Aston Villa were.
And Even in that last game,
Yeah, so it's mad.
had the title in their hands at one point. Yeah,
So
I suppose.
I think it just maxed
I
out.
know,
I mean, the players were playing beyond, some of them beyond their means, beyond their potential, beyond what they could give, and I just think it's run out now. Like,
one other thing,
gone.
I think I said to you, Daryl, as well. If you lost Son, Kulusevski, and Richarlison, what would your attack be like?
What attack?
If Tottenham lost
What attack?
Richarlison, Son,
What
listen,
attack? Exactly.
you're still scoring goals.
You said it.
Exactly.
It'd be what attack?
Yeah, what attack?
There would be no
We've
attack.
lost Diaz. We've lost Jota, and we've lost Firmino. Firmino played some part of the game, and people say he doesn't score much, but it's not just scoring for him. He creates a lot. Maybe not direct assists, but he creates a lot for our system. Yeah. We lose those three guys. Salah is now having to learn how to play with Núñez. And then you've now bringing in Gakpo. People, as I said, 007, people are already cutting Gakpo. He's been in for 5 weeks.
Yeah, but
and
people,
expecting him.
People are always looking for
I know.
slander.
I know.
Yeah, especially as Diaz, when you lot signed him last January, he hit it off. People were expecting the same.
Exactly. So and it's not the same. I mean? Gakpo is not a Liverpool. I won't go too much into it, but he's not a typical Liverpool player. He's one for the future, one to build around. When you've got all your normal guys playing, you can bring him in. You can get him ready. There's talk of him playing as number 9 and replacing Firmino. That's not something you can do straight off the bat.
No,
that's something you have to be dripped into. Not play 4 games on a bounce in a team that's in its worst for the whole Klopp's tenure. So there's so many problems, and losing those 3 attackers. No one's talking about Salah. Like I said before, no one's talking about Salah. He's scored 17 goals, but he's not being effective anymore. And
the fact that he's scored 17 goals, I think, has given him a pass, really.
Yeah, it has. Núñez has scored a decent amount of goals, but he doesn't fit yet. He's not settled into what Klopp wants him to do, which is why Klopp decided to go with Gakpo, because Gakpo can actually drop back in and make us play similar to like he wants to. He's not ready to switch. He's tried the whole pressing forward of the striker. It doesn't work at the moment. And I think I had this conversation with you, Daryl. Is this whole Pep Lijnders talk? Is Pep Lijnders influencing us with more technical, or like you said to me, is it more of a case of Klopp knows he can't be like Jose and just die out? He needs to evolve, and maybe he tried to evolve a little bit this season, and it just hasn't worked because he tried to evolve and his star players haven't been available.
Possible. It's possible. It'd be a crazy thing to try and evolve that quick after the successes of last season, because as much as you didn't win trophies,
we still
apart from the FA Cup and League Cup, to try and evolve that quick, I don't know.
I don't think it was meant to be quick though.
Look, somebody looks like Mystic Meg right now because certain man left the team. It's like they saw it coming. Certain man.
A lot of people were saying that's the difference.
The thing is, right?
James refutes that. He refutes that Mane was
the reason why
gone.
The reason why I refute that, is because when you look at last season, first half of last season, people were saying Mane, it's time to go. It's time to go, Mane, because Mane was not good first half of the season. Mane went African nations, and Salah was the best player in the world. Remember, first half of last season. First half of the season, everyone said he's the best player in the world. He went African nations. Mane was stinking up the place before African nations. One came back, one African nations, and one went like this. And the other one came back for African nations and went like this. And then now it's Mane's gone. Look what's happened. But before African nations, Mane was not on it. And everyone was like, I don't mind him going. Not everyone. I still was a Mane advocate.
But it's not
a lot of people maybe it's time out.
It's the goals that people were measuring that by. But what his
performances, he was losing the ball a lot, bruv. He was getting into situations where he was getting subbed because he was getting yellow cards for elbowing and going into harsh tackles, and Klopp had to sub him. Those things were happening.
No, it's true. I do remember.
People forget that. But
I do remember that.
So it's not all that. Oh, Mane's gone. Then Mane was my favorite of the two as well, and I'm upset that Mane left. But if Mane wants to go, he wants to go. He's given us everything for.
Right, he wanted to go because he felt like he wasn't getting the kudos he deserved. And
again, I still don't agree with that. But I can see why people think that. 100%, I can see why people think that, but I still don't agree with that. But
What,
anyway,
what was he? What was he getting paid compared to Salah, bruv? Salah
pay
made all this big commotion and stuff about how much to get paid. He was part of a tandem. How much was he getting paid
pay
compared to what
thing
Salah was getting paid?
pay wise. When you look at it, listen. When we used to pay FM, bruv, if one person was getting this many goals and that one was still good, you're still going to pay the one that gets you all the winning goals more than the other one.
Yeah,
As
but
much as we liked Mane,
it was the gap, bro.
but as much as we liked Mane, they didn't technically deserve to be on the same wage from output. From output, they didn't. But from the physical aspect of what Mane gave us in terms of pressing and stuff and the game management, then you can argue yes. But they're not going to look at that. They're going to look at when they sit you in front of each other. They're going to say, "What's your number saying, Mane?"